Okay, a couple terms that I want us to get in our head because I'm going to start using these terms a lot. First, let's put a C major scale back up on the screen because that's a little easier for us to see how this works. So here we go. I'm going to do this again. C, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. There we go. C major scale. Okay, two fairly simple terms. The first term that I'm going to introduce to you is the tonic. Now, the tonic means the note that the scale is named after is the easiest way to think about it. So in C major, if we're looking at a C major scale, the tonic is C. The tonic is a single note. It's not a scale or a chord or anything. It's a single note. The easiest way to think about it is the note that the scale is named after. Now, sometimes we don't know what the scale is named, and we have to figure out what the tonic is. That can be kind of tricky. Hold on to that for now. We'll talk more about that later, what to do when that situation happens. There are tricks you can do where you basically do some trial and error and try to use the pattern and find where the pattern works. But right now, we know what the scale is called because all the notes are in order. So it's fairly easy to see that this is the tonic. This is also the tonic, right? Because it's also a C and it's the resolution. Another way to think about the tonic is what feels like the beginning and the end of the scale. For example, let's get rid of this note. I'm going to play this scale going up and it's going to stop right here. And that's not going to feel like the end of the scale. It should feel like I've left you hanging, like you're waiting for this other note to happen, right? So let's just prove it. So when we hear that note, it's going to stop, and then you're going to think, oh, it's missing a note. Something needs to happen. And you're all in suspense, and you're waiting because you really want to hear. So that tells us that this is tonic because we really feel that it's happening. It needs to be there. That kind of points us towards this is probably tonic because it feels like the most natural tone. This will become more obvious when we talk about chords, but for now, just think of it as the note the scale is named after. Okay, so let me replace that note. There we go. So we can see the whole scale. Okay, the next little vocabulary term is the scale degree. Now, the scale degree is just a number that we assign to each note in the scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, although we don't use 8 all that often. Sometimes we just call that 1. Because if the scale continued, let's do it. The scale can continue. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then it starts over because this is the same note as that. They're both C's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 again. So we have 2 octaves of a scale. Sometimes we call these 8, but usually we call it 1 again. So it's 1 through 7 because those are our different notes. So tonic is 1. Right? Scale degree 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, they each have kind of special properties that we're going to be talking about. And so it's important to remember when I say scale degree 2, scale degree 3, or something like that, that's what I'm talking about. We tend to write these as a number with a little kind of caret on top of it. That's how, if you're looking through any kind of textbook or a music theory book or anything like that, and you see a number with this little caret on top of it, it's referring to a scale degree number, which is important because soon we're going to have several different kinds of numbers we're talking about. And we don't want to get confused. If I say the number 2, I want you to know I'm talking about scale degree and not a chord or something else. So that's why we put that little caret on top. differentiate it between different types of numbers that we're going to be talking about. So keep that in mind. Scale degree and tonic, 2 vocabulary words for right now.